Well, howdy, folks. Dave Man here again, Roman Revolution. Been having these weird camera problems the last couple days. The gimbal has not been very gimbal. It's been very pain in the assy. Anyway, in light of a previous video that I recorded, if you haven't seen it yet, it's called The Trump Effect. I highly recommend you listen to it. It's kind of giving you the stage, the platform for the presentation and the mission that Donald Trump has kind of set out, and the effect that he is having on the decisions that he's making. But I wanted to spin off that a little bit more because I talk specifically about the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, and kind of their influence that has been kind of meddling in U.S. affairs for a fairly long time now. For whatever reason, and I to this day I cannot understand this other than the fact to say that they are evil and they are being controlled by outside opposition, is the mainstream media keeps touting this nonsense. I mean, you just watched the other day what Donald Trump did to the CNN reporter, while the president of El Salvador was here. So the problem with it is that when these people talk now, they're not really listening to what they're saying. It's almost kind of like, are you that dumb to ask a question of that simplistic and easy to understand, but it's like, you just complicated something that didn't need to be complicated. It's an answer that almost couldn't be answered. And it's like, really? That's what the media is focusing on? Not the other 1,500 problems that President Trump is kind of knocking out one at a time? You got to remember the amount of things that he had to take over. The shit, the basic cesspool that he has been forced to have to deal with. And he's managing all these arms using the best people possible in this cabinet, some of which are much more effective than others. I'm going to say that flat out because there are some right now that need to get a move on. Okay? But bottom line, I wanted to piggyback off that previous video because Mark Zuckerberg now is in court on a civil charge dealing with, what they call that, censoring and playing around with a foreign adversary. Which, if you haven't listened to the whistleblower testimony about Facebook, the gal who, and I'm not really good with names, but the gal who basically testified before Josh Hawley and his committee about what was going on at Facebook and what Mark Zuckerberg was really up to, all those eons ago, and how they became so monopolistic over the course of the past, almost 2 decades. So it's getting to a point now where you're starting to see these people are having to answer for their suspect for a very, very long time. And Mark Zuckerberg trying to cozy up to the president, just before his inauguration, because he now knows that, look, you're going to have a Justice Department who's going to have to start dialing in on these people. This crap cannot happen again in this country. Do you understand the magnitude? This is what I'm trying to get people to understand. For those people who, were fighting in the MAGA movement and fighting, for putting President Donald Trump back into office, great. I cannot thank you enough for all of that. And I know I hate to ask you for more of your help, more of your treasure, more of your time. But the reality is that if we're ever going to take back what's ours and to make our lives a lot easier, meaning that we're not killing ourselves every damn day just to make ends meet. No, we got our something at the end of this whole thing. If you ever want that, and you want that for your future generations, you got to keep fighting. We got to get these damn Republican rhinos out of office. We got to get these Democrat strongholds, these cities that, like Jasmine Crockett. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, really? AOC, seriously, New York, really, you got to start taking responsibility for the shit you're creating. And if you're loving it, I don't understand. Maybe AOC is just in one of those districts where everybody's getting the pie in the sky, a good time is coming to me, fantasy land. Maybe that's where they, who's voting this person in. But really, we got to start fighting in our own districts for what we want. We as a people. Stop letting all these other people speak on your behalf. This is your United States. We're not letting illegals vote in our elections. We're not letting people take from the government dole who do not pay taxes here. We've got to fix what is ours. And the only way we're going to do that is by getting directly involved. But you can see what's happening on the large scale with the Chinese Communist Party trying to flex against President Trump. Nobody else with those tariffs, okay? They're all, the purpose of the tariffs, first off, in my opinion, okay? And nobody said this other than me. Okay, maybe somebody else out there, but I don't follow everybody. But the way I see it is those tariffs were specifically a way to get the other countries around the negotiation table again to say, look, we're going to do this fair. If we don't make this fair, this is not going to happen anymore. And that's the whole purpose of it. Now, what China's trying to do is play games. Okay, they said you're going to say we're going to make yours 40%. Now they're going, we're going to make ours 125, and we're playing this chess game. Does he understand what China has been doing to the American people and to American business and business in generals who put their companies over there? They've been stealing intellectual property. They haven't been playing by the rules for a really very long time. Just listen to Kevin O'Leary, who does business all over the world. He says these people are the worst. Why? Because basically you put all the stuff over there to try to get an extra buck because it makes it very, very difficult to get it built elsewhere, right? With all of the regulation and all the other stuff. There was no incentive to build stuff here. We've offshored everything, right? And what China did during those whole time was basically play a game. Basically not take care of their people, but make their power and their power structure even stronger. By closing and wielding in power, by stealing intellectual property, by housing this, and then basically paying off our own government officials to keep looking the other way. You want to know why things don't get done in Washington? All you have to do is ask a couple questions as to why and how much money the Chinese Communist Party is basically paying into a lot of your representatives and senators, into their NGOs, into their, how many of their embedded agents are kind of intermixed into the cesspool we call Washington, D.C. That's why it's very important that we do a complete audit of the government at some point. We need to know who's working for us. Are they effective? What's their job role? What are they doing it very, very well? Or is it just one of these people that, don't do anything and are getting a paycheck? There has to be accountability. And the way this happens is by putting the right people who actually give a shit about this country, want to put this country first, and want to make your life a little bit better. But it's so hilarious to me. Not hilarious, it's almost annoying to me how a mainstream media journalist could ask the questions that they do. These nighttime hosts keep touting the bullshit. It is so nauseating because you can just go out your door and realize it ain't the reality. No, you're seeing all of these pustules, these pimples coming to a head now, my friends. And Mark Zuckerberg, I am sorry, sir, but if any of this is true, this is the civil trial. The criminal trial will be coming afterwards because you have a lot of explaining to do. We have no idea the outcomes that could have potentially have been for the 2020 election if you had not played the games you did. And you know that, son. You know that. And then as far as all of this utter meddling with censoring this and censoring that and censoring things that are not unfavorable to the Chinese Communist Party. Okay. Well, you'll have your day in court, sir. But this is all coming to a head, my friends. It's all coming to a head. And this is the Trump effect, but it's not even just the Trump effect. It's the power of the voice of the American people. Majority of this country is now MAGA, 70%, and it's growing by the day. And the people who were foundational MAGA, the ones that were basically there from the beginning, who have been kind of slowly building this up to 2008, 2009, 2010, and then the slow build-up through the President Trump's first term, you can start to see where this is going, but you need to start informing those who are new faces to this and saying, look, these are our people. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Inform them. Have conversations. Have an open dialogue. See what they know. We have to not be afraid to have conversations with each other again. I have said it on this show before, and I will continue to keep saying it. It is not you versus me. It never has been. And when I say it's us versus them, I'm not talking about that on a grand scale. I'm just saying you got to know where the common denominator, where the problems are. You got to stop thinking it's me and you, your neighbors. It's not. The fight's not with us. It's up there where they're making the decisions and then turning it around and playing it against us. We got to be smarter than this. We got to start fighting for the right side. But there is things happening. You are watching them happen. You are seeing history happen in weeks' time. We need to continue to keep supporting the president. We need to get out there and keep fighting in our districts. Take over your districts. Go to your local meetings. Find out what they're talking about. Find out what their strategies are. And if they don't meet up to what MAGA is, you take over. You start setting the agendas. You start outlining the country you want. We do this locally, and we build out from there. It's only going to get better if we get better. You hear me say, I am tired of being a parrot. One of these days, my friends, that these lines are going to stop, and I'll be able to talk about some of the things that I think really does matter to the core, things that we should be talking about. But for the time being, until we get there, there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of stone to mold, a lot of wood to chop. And it's going to require every damn one of us, me, you, and anyone willing to give up their time and treasure to support this nation and any of those willing to fight for it. I hope to see you guys out on the battlefield. We've got more work to do. And I'll talk with you soon, my friends.